What if museums could heal the world? I'm your host, Zhihang, an environmental student, drummer, and artist. In this podcast, we'll explore how museums are breaking free from their glass cases to tackle climate chaos, colonial legacies, and the rhythms of nature. Welcome to Beyond the Walls. In 2017, I stood in the British Museum, surrounded by stolen artifacts. The air felt heavy with silence, a silence that hides centuries of violence. However, across the globe, institutions like the Smithsonian are rewriting the script. Museums are non-neutral. Take the British Museum's Parthenon Marbles, looted from Greece in the 19th century, now displaced as art while erasing their secret context. The museum justifies retention through colonial-era universal ideals, dismissing Greece's rightful claim despite the Acropolis Museum's purpose-built home. Its refusal to repatriate echoes enduring imperial logic. Power dictates whose heritage is universalized and whose remains a footnote. Contrast this with New Zealand's Te Papa Tongarewa Museum, where Maori communities co-curate exhibits. Here, ancestral voices shape narratives instead of being silenced by them. While the British Museum clings to looted symbols of empire, Te Papa proves that decolonizing institutions begin by returning authority and artifacts to the communities they were stolen from. As Indigenous scholar Linda Smith reminds us, decolonization is not a metaphor. The Smithsonian's Recovering Voices program embodies this, repatriating sacred objects to the Anacostan people after 150 years in storage. This initiative not only repatriates physical items, but also revitalizes cultural practices and linguistic knowledge, fostering a deeper connection between the community and their heritage. By supporting Indigenous stewardship of their cultural resources, the program contributes to the ongoing process of decolonization and cultural revitalization. Amy Longtree, author of Decolonizing Museums, calls this shift restorative materiality, reclaiming cultural agency one artifact at a time. As a Master of Environmental Management student, I've seen Western science dismiss Indigenous wisdom. For instance, First Nations communities have practiced cool burning, also known as culture burning, is a sophisticated practice of controlled, low-intensity fires. As the Wataka Foundation explains, these burns are lit during the early dry season to clear undergrowth, protect biodiversity, and prevent catastrophic wildfires. Unlike Western hazard reduction burns, cool burns create mosaic patterns that spare mature trees and encourage native plant regeneration. A study confirms these methods reduce wildfire risk and emissions while supporting ecosystem health and Indigenous communities. Yet museums label their tools primitive. Imagine a gallery where a colonial audio guide declares, "This land was discovered in 1770. While beneath it, Indigenous elders whisper, 'We've managed this country with fire for 65,000 years.'" The Smithsonian's Rising Waters project bridges this divide, blending tidal data with Indigenous oral histories to map sea level rise. Botanist Robin Kim writes, "Science can be a way of forming intimacy with the living world. Museums must listen, not just display." Drumming is my dialogue with nature. I think these rhythms mirror the pulse of tides, the crescendo of storms. In the following rhythms, which I call the echoes of the Māori-Darling, I fuse tackle drums with the Māori-Darling River's dying gasps to express collision between human rhythm and nature's unraveling. A lament for stolen water, stolen cycles. Yet in the drum's relentless pulse, there's defiance. Can we beat back the silence we've created? It's grief, guilt, and the primal plea to listen. In 2010, the artist Abramovich sat silently for 736 hours over 3 months. engaging over 1,500 strangers in sustained eye contact and eliciting tears and shared vulnerability to explore empathy in art. Sound artist Brandon LaBelle calls this acoustic justice, brought this medium of resistance. Rhythm isn't entertainment, it's a warning. When we ignore Earth's heartbeat, we silence our future. So this podcast asks, can museums become amplifiers for these rhythms? Imagine a gallery where visitors use headphones to hear glaciers cracking, coral bleaching, or wind carrying seeds. Sound doesn't sit behind glass. It moves, disrupts, and demands action. In 2025, museums must choose temples of the past or labs for the future. Imagine galleries where climate scientists debate extinction on the walls, Indigenous elders lead tours through reclaimed artifacts, and visitors don't just observe, they act. As Donna Haraway argues in Staying with the Trouble, we must make king with crisis. This isn't fantasy, it's survival. And if you listen closely, the drums are already beating away. Thank you for joining me on Beyond the Walls. Until next time, keep questioning the stories around you.